90 seconds. That's how long it took for my entire life to change. 90 seconds to decide between everything I'd worked for and everything I believed in. 90 seconds to choose between my career and 23 innocent lives. I'm not going to tell you I'm a hero. I'm not. Heroes don't spend sleepless nights second-guessing themselves. Heroes don't wake up in cold sweats wondering if they made the right call. But I am going to tell you about the moment that defined me. The moment when the clock started ticking and I had to choose who I really was. September 2011, Afghanistan, Helmand Province. I was Staff Sergeant Michael Cross with the 75th Ranger Regiment, and I had clear orders from command. 4 words that still echo in my head: observe and report only. But sometimes life doesn't care about your orders. Let me take you back, way back. Because to understand that 90 seconds, you need to understand how I got there. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where everyone knows your name and your business. My dad worked at the auto plant. Mom was a nurse. We weren't rich, but we were happy. I was the oldest of 3 kids, always felt like I needed to set an example, you know? Be the responsible one. Joined the army right out of high school, 18 years old, didn't know shit about the world. Basic training at Fort Benning kicked my ass in ways I didn't know were possible. But I loved it. The structure, the purpose, the brotherhood. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was part of something bigger than myself. Made it through Ranger School in 2004, 22 years old, feeling invincible. Got my tan beret, my scroll. Thought I was hot shit. My first deployment was Iraq, 2005, Ramadi. That place taught me real quick that war isn't like the movies. It's not heroic, it's not clean. It's chaos and blood and trying not to get yourself or your buddies killed. But I was good at it. Got promoted to sergeant, then staff sergeant by 2009. Led my own fire team. 8 guys who trusted me with their lives. That weight. Man, you never get used to that weight. By 2011, I'd done 3 tours. Iraq twice, Afghanistan once. I was 29 years old and felt 50. But I re-upped anyway. Because what else was I going to do? Go back to Ohio and work at the plant? This was my life now. My brothers were in that desert, and I wasn't going to abandon them. So there I was, September 2011. Forward Operating Base Dwyer in Helmand Province. The heat there isn't just hot, it's oppressive. Like the sun is personally angry at you. Dust everywhere. In your boots, your rifle, your lungs. You're breathing Afghanistan whether you want to or not. Our mission tempo was brutal: night raids, reconnaissance, counter-IED operations. The Taliban had a strong presence in Garmsir district, and we were there to disrupt their operations. Every day was a gamble. Every patrol could be your last. My team was solid, best guys I ever served with. There was Martinez, our medic, Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx, could make you laugh even when mortars were dropping. Johnson, on communications, black guy from Atlanta with an engineering degree who joined up after 9/11, said he wanted to do his part. Williams was our youngest, 22, fresh-faced kid from Iowa. Scared shitless most days, but never showed it when it mattered. Thompson, our machine gunner, built like a tank, quiet as hell until the shooting started. Ramirez, our translator, first-generation American, parents fled El Salvador. Davies and Chen rounded out the team. We'd been through hell together. Iraq, Afghanistan. We knew each other's moves before we made them. And then there was Lieutenant Morrison, West Point graduate, 25 years old, 3rd-generation military. His grandfather hit Omaha Beach. His father flew helicopters in Vietnam. Morrison had legacy weighing on him like a rucksack full of stones. Good officer, by the book, but he was terrified of making the wrong decision, of being the one who broke the family tradition. Me, I came up through the ranks. Started as a private, earned every stripe. I didn't have a legacy to protect. I just had my guys and my conscience. The mission brief came down on September 18th. Intelligence had tracked a high-value target to a compound in a village called Laki, about 12 kilometers northwest of our FOB, Taliban commander, responsible for coordinating IED placements along Route 611, the route our supply convoys used. This guy's handiwork had killed 7 Americans in the past month. Our orders were crystal clear. Establish an observation post. Confirm the target's presence. Report back. Do not engage unless fired upon. Command wanted to coordinate a larger operation with air support. Precision strike. Minimize collateral damage. Textbook counterinsurgency. Observe and report. Simple, right? We rolled out at 0200 hours on September 19th. 3 Humvees, lights off, night vision turning the world into shades of green. The drive was tense. It's always tense. You're watching for disturbed dirt on the road, fresh digging, wire, anything that screams IED. You're watching the roof lines, the windows, the faces of locals who might be out at 2 a.m. Every shadow could be hostile. Nobody talked much, just the rumble of engines and the occasional radio check. Williams was gripping his rifle so tight his knuckles were white. I caught his eye, gave him a nod. He nodded back. Kid was scared, but he'd do his job. I knew he would. We reached our observation point around 0330. A ridge overlooking the target compound, maybe 800 meters out. Good elevation, decent cover behind a rock formation. Martinez set up the spotting scope. Johnson established comms with base. Morrison was on the satellite phone, confirming our position with command. The village of Laki was quiet. Maybe 300 people lived there. Farmers mostly. Caught between us and the Taliban like everyone else in that God-forsaken province. The compound we were watching was on the northern edge. Mud brick walls, typical Afghan construction. Courtyard in the center. Single-story building on one side. Through the scope I could see lights inside. Movement. We counted maybe 10-12 military-age males. Armed. AK-47s, couple of PKMs. This was the place. Morrison got off the phone. Command confirms. We hold position, maintain surveillance. Airstrike is scheduled for 48 hours from now. We just need visual confirmation the HVT is here. 48 hours. 2 days of sitting on this ridge, watching. We settled in, split into 2-hour watch rotations. It was boring work. Hurry up and wait, like most of military life. But you had to stay sharp. One moment of inattention, and you could miss something critical. Or worse, get hit by a patrol you didn't see coming. Around 0500, just as the sky was starting to lighten, we heard vehicles. 2 Toyota Hiluxes, the Taliban's vehicle of choice, rolled into the compound. More fighters piled out. I counted 8 additional hostiles. This was a significant meetup. And then I saw them. People being dragged out of one of the trucks. Hands bound behind their backs, heads covered with cloth bags. They were stumbling, being pushed and shoved by the fighters. I counted them through the scope. 23 individuals. Men, women, and Jesus, kids. I could see small figures, children. My stomach dropped. "Martinez," I whispered, "you seeing this?" He was on the scope next to me. I heard him mutter something in Spanish. A prayer, maybe. The prisoners were forced to sit in rows in the courtyard, hands behind their heads. The fighters formed a perimeter around them. This wasn't a military operation. This was something else. Morrison crawled over. "What have we got?" "Civilians, sir, at least 23. Some of them are children, they're bound." He took the scope, looked for himself. Even in the pre-dawn darkness, I could see his face go pale. "Could be detainees," he said, but his voice was uncertain. "Taliban justice, local disputes." "Or executions," Martinez said quietly. We'd all seen it before. Taliban didn't need much excuse to kill people. Collaboration with Americans, real or imagined. Violating Sharia law, disobeying orders, they'd wipe out entire families and call it justice. "We hold position," Morrison said. "Orders are observe and report, that's what we do." "Lieutenant," I started. "Those are the orders, Sergeant." I looked through my own scope. Watched those people sitting in that courtyard. Watched the fighters walking around them, rifles ready. Watched the sky getting lighter minute by minute. And then I saw her. Little girl. Maybe 7, 8 years old. Long dark hair. Even with the bag over her head I could tell. She was small, thin, pressed up against who I assumed was her father. Even from 800 meters away, I could see she was trembling. I thought about my own niece back home, Emma. She was 6. Loved Disney movies and mac and cheese. Would run to the door screaming, "Uncle Mike!" Whenever I came home on leave, this little girl in that courtyard probably liked the same things. Probably had a favorite toy. Probably had dreams about what she wanted to be when she grew up. And she was about to die. The next 4 hours were agony. We watched as the sun came up, watched as the fighters brought out food for themselves, ignored the prisoners, watched as some of the prisoners collapsed from exhaustion or dehydration and were kicked back upright. Williams was crying, silently, but tears were running down his face. Johnson kept checking his radio like maybe headquarters would magically change their minds. Thompson was gripping his machine gun, jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth would crack. At 0930 hours, Morrison got a call from command. I watched his face as he listened, saw his expression change from hope to resignation. He hung up, looked at me. Airstrike has been pushed back. 72 hours now. They want more intelligence on the target before they commit assets. 72 hours, 3 days. Those people won't last 3 days, Martinez said flatly. We don't know that, Morrison replied, but he didn't sound convinced. Yes, we do, sir. Respectfully, we absolutely know that. Morrison didn't respond, just stared at that compound like it was a puzzle he couldn't solve. The day dragged on, hot, miserable. We rotated through watch, tried to stay hydrated, stay alert. The prisoners were still sitting in the courtyard. No food, no water. In that heat, they'd start dropping from dehydration soon. At 1,600 hours, one of the fighters walked down the line of prisoners, pulled the bag off an older man's head, started yelling at him in Pashto. Ramirez, our translator, was listening through the directional mic. He's accusing him of being an informant, Ramirez whispered. Says he's been giving information to the Americans about IED placements. The fighter pulled out a pistol, pressed it against the old man's temple. The man was crying, begging. I could see his mouth moving even from this distance. The fighter laughed, said something else, then holstered the pistol and walked away. Psychological torture, Morrison said quietly. They're breaking them before the execution. Then we agree it's going to be an execution, I said. Cross. Sir, with all due respect, we can't just sit here and watch this happen. Our orders are clear. We are not authorized to engage. This is a larger operation. If we compromise it now, that HVT could disappear, and all of this is for nothing. All of this? I gestured toward the compound. You mean those 23 people? That's what all of this is for nothing? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean, Lieutenant? He didn't answer, just turned back to the scope. The afternoon turned into evening. The temperature dropped, but not much. We ate MREs cold, didn't want to risk heat signatures. From warming them up, drank water, tried to stay focused. At 2,100 hours, as full darkness set in, the fighters lit a fire in the courtyard, gathered around it, started drinking chai, laughing. Like this was a fucking campout. The prisoners were still sitting there, 12 hours now in the same position. Some of them had collapsed completely, weren't moving anymore. Morrison got another call from command. This conversation was longer. I watched his face, saw frustration, anger, finally resignation again. Airstrike is confirmed for 0600 hours 2 days from now, he said after hanging up. 42 hours. We maintain position until then. 42 hours. I looked at those prisoners, at that little girl. She wouldn't make it 42 hours. None of them would. At 0130 hours, in the early morning darkness of September 20th, it happened. We heard a single gunshot from the compound. Through the night vision, I saw one of the prisoners jerk forward and fall, saw the others start screaming, saw the fighters laughing, passing around the pistol like it was a party game. Oh God, Williams whispered. Oh God, they're killing them. Another shot, another prisoner dropped. This wasn't psychological warfare anymore. This was the real thing. I looked at Morrison. His face was frozen, staring through the scope. Lieutenant, I said quietly, we have to do something. Our orders. Fuck the orders, I snapped. They're executing civilians right in front of us. If we engage, we compromise the entire operation. That HVT could escape. More Americans could die because we didn't. Another shot rang out. A third prisoner fell. More Americans? I grabbed Morrison's shoulder, made him look at me. What about those people? Don't they count? Don't their lives matter? Of course they matter, but nothing, sir. I'm not sitting here and watching children get executed. I'm not. Sergeant Cross, I am giving you a direct order. Stand down, we maintain position. I looked at Martinez had tears streaming down his face. Johnson was shaking his head slowly, fists clenched. Williams looked like he was about to throw up. Thompson, Chen, Davies, Ramirez, all of them staring at me, waiting. Another shot, fourth prisoner down. And that's when time stopped, when everything came into sharp focus, when 90 seconds started ticking. I had a choice to make. Follow orders and watch innocent people die, or break every rule I'd ever sworn to follow and maybe save them. 90 seconds to decide who I was. I thought about my training, about the oath I'd taken, to support and defend the Constitution, to obey the orders of the President and the officers appointed over me, to bear true faith and allegiance. But that oath also said something else, something I'd memorized but never really thought about until that moment. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Who were the enemy in that moment? The Taliban in that compound? Or the orders telling me to do nothing? 60 seconds left. I thought about that little girl, about my niece Emma, about every reason I joined the army in the first place. To protect people, to stand between evil and the innocent, to be the good guy in a world full of bad. What good was I if I couldn't protect 23 people right in front of me? 45 seconds. I thought about my career. 10 years of service, staff sergeant, good evaluations, on track for sergeant first class, maybe first sergeant someday, a retirement, benefits, a future. All of that would disappear if I disobeyed a direct order in a combat zone. Court-martial, dishonorable discharge, maybe Leavenworth. Everything I'd worked for, gone, 30 seconds. But then I thought about going home, about seeing Emma again, about her asking me what I did in the war. How could I look her in the eye and tell her I watched children die because following orders was more important than saving them? How could I live with myself? 15 seconds. Another shot rang. Out. Fifth prisoner. That's when I knew. I'd rather lose my career than my soul. 90 seconds up. Martinez, Johnson, Williams, Thompson, Chen, Davies, Ramirez. Gear up. We're going in. Morrison grabbed my arm. Sergeant Cross, I'm ordering you to stand down, do you understand? If you do this, I cannot protect you. This is on you. All of it. I looked at him, really looked at him. This kid was 25 years old, carrying 3 generations of expectations. He was paralyzed by the fear of being the one who failed. I know, sir, I said quietly. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather face a court-martial than live the rest of my life knowing I could have saved them and didn't. You'll lose everything. Maybe. But I'll keep the only thing that really matters. What's that? The ability to look at myself in the mirror. I turned to my team. Anyone who doesn't want to be part of this, I understand. This is my decision, my responsibility. Nobody has to follow me, nobody moved. Then Martinez checked his med kit. We came here to fight bad guys and save lives. Let's go do both. Johnson nodded. I'm in, Sarge. Williams, still with tears on his face, chambered around. Let's go save those people. Thompson racked his M249. Chen and Davies checked their rifles. Ramirez gave me a thumbs up, every single one of them. Morrison stood there for a long moment. I saw the war happening behind his eyes. Finally, he picked up his rifle. If we're doing this, we do it smart. I'll provide overwatch from here with my M110. Cover your advance. Pick off anyone who tries to escape or reinforce. But Cross, when this is over, when we get back, I can't protect you from what's coming. I know, Lieutenant, I know, and thank you. We moved fast. Combat interval, using the darkness as cover. 800 meters felt like 8 miles. Every step I was thinking about the plan, thinking about the layout, thinking about how to get 23 people out of a compound surrounded by armed fighters. The plan was simple because it had to be. Simultaneous entry from 3 points. Martinez and Williams would breach the east wall. There was a section that looked weak, probably could kick through it. Thompson and Chen would take the south gate, blow the lock with a breaching charge. Johnson, Ramirez, Davies, and I would go through the north entrance. Morrison would stay on the ridge, 800 meters out, with his sniper rifle. Long-range precision fire, pick off anyone who tried to run or call for help. We had surprise on our side, maybe. The Taliban had no reason to expect an American strike team to materialize out of nowhere when their intelligence told them the nearest coalition forces were 12 clicks away. We reached the compound at 0147 hours. I could hear voices inside. Laughter. Another gunshot. 6th victim. 20 seconds until we breached. I looked at my guys. Gave the hand signal. They nodded back. Through my earpiece, Morrison's voice. Cross. I count 19 hostiles in the courtyard. At least 3 more inside the main building. You're outnumbered 3-1. Copy that. We faced worse, had we though? 19 confirmed hostiles, probably more, 8 of us. Darkness, surprise, and superior training on our side. But still, I thought about that little girl one more time. About Emma. About doing the right thing. Breach in 5, 4, 3, 2, execute. Thompson's breaching charge blew the south gate. The explosion lit up the night. We poured through our entry point simultaneously. The courtyard erupted into chaos. The fighters were scrambling, grabbing weapons. The prisoners were screaming, throwing themselves flat. We were yelling in English and Pashto, "Get down! Stay down!" Morrison's rifle cracked from the ridge. One fighter dropped, then another. I acquired my first target. Fighter raising an AK, 2-round center mass. He dropped. Move. Next target. Fighter running toward the prisoners with a pistol. 3 rounds. Down. The muscle. Memory of thousands of hours on the range taking over. Breathe. Aim. Fire. Move. Stay fluid. Stay fast. Thompson's M249 was hammering, suppressing 3 fighters who'd taken cover behind a stone wall. Tracers lighting up the darkness. Martinez was yelling in Spanish and English, trying to calm the prisoners, get them to move toward cover. Williams was on my left, moving like we'd practiced. Controlled bursts. Professional. The fear was gone now, replaced by training and adrenaline. A fighter popped up from behind a truck, RPG on his shoulder. I saw him in slow motion, saw him acquiring Johnson as a target. Johnson. RPG. Johnson dove left. I put 4 rounds into the fighter. He fell backward, the RPG firing wild, the rocket screaming overhead and impacting somewhere in the darkness behind us. More gunfire from the main building. 3 fighters in the doorway. Morrison took one, I took another. Thompson's machine gun took the third. And then, suddenly, it was quiet. The shooting stopped. Smoke and dust hung in the air. My ears were ringing. The smell of gunpowder and blood was overwhelming. I did a quick scan, counted bodies. 19 Taliban fighters down. 0 American casualties. But we weren't done. The prisoners were huddled against the far wall, terrified. Some of them were wounded, caught in the crossfire despite our best efforts. Martinez was already moving toward them, med kit open, barking orders at Williams to help. I started clearing the bodies, making sure every hostile was actually down. That's when I heard it. A small voice, speaking in Pashto. I turned. The little girl, she'd pulled the bag off her head, was staring at me with these huge brown eyes, covered in dust, terrified, confused. She was clutching something in her hands. A piece of torn fabric. Looked like it might have been a doll once. I knelt down slowly, trying to make myself less threatening, slung my rifle behind my back. "Hey," I said softly, even though she probably didn't speak English. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now, you're safe." She didn't respond, just kept staring. Like she couldn't process what was happening. One minute she's about to be executed, next minute, Americans are there. I reached into my vest, pulled out an MRE, grabbed the Skittles packet, we always saved those for moments like this, offered it to her. She hesitated, then slowly reached out with a shaking hand and took it. Didn't open it, just held it like it was made of gold. Behind me, Johnson was on the radio. "Viper 6, this is Reaper 2-1. We have engaged hostile forces at the target compound. 19 enemy Kia. 23 civilians recovered, multiple wounded. Requesting immediate QRF and medevac over. Static." Then a different voice. Confused, angry. "Reaper 2-1, say again?" "You were not authorized for engagement." "Repeat, not authorized. Explain your status." Johnson looked at me. I took the radio. "Viper 6, this is Staff Sergeant Cross. Authorization or not, engagement is complete. We have 23 civilians who are being executed. Some of them are children. Some of them are wounded and will die without immediate medical attention. Send us that QRF and medevac. Now." Longer static this time. I could almost hear the panic at headquarters, the frantic checking of rules of engagement, the calls being made up the chain of command, the collective "oh shit" moment when they realized we'd just gone completely off script. Finally, a new voice, older, more authority. "Reaper 2-1, this is Colonel Briggs. Explain the full situation." I did. Short version: the prisoners, the executions, the decision, the firefight. More silence. Then, "QRF is en route, ETA 18 minutes, medevac behind them. Hold your position, secure the site. And Sergeant Cross, we'll be having a very long conversation when you get back." "Yes, sir, I expect we will." The sun was starting to come up now, golden light spilling over the mountains, painting the compound in shades of orange and red. Would have been beautiful if it weren't for the bodies, if you didn't smell the blood. Martinez had triaged the wounded, 3 civilians hit during the firefight, 1 old man with a shoulder wound, 1 younger guy with a leg wound, 1 woman grazed across the arm. He had them stabilized, IVs in, talking to them in his broken Pashto English mix, keeping them calm. The little girl was still watching me. I sat down on the ground near her, not too close, trying not to be intimidating. Her father, at least I assumed it was her father, approached slowly. Older guy, maybe 40, with a graying beard. His hands were still bound behind his back. I cut the zip ties, helped him get circulation back. He put his hand over his heart, bowed slightly. "Thank you," he said in heavily accented English. "Thank you. You save us. You save my daughter." I didn't know what to say. What do you say to someone you just saved from execution? "You're safe now," I managed. "Help is coming." He grabbed my hand, squeezed it hard. His eyes were filled with tears. "You break rules for us," I hear officers say. You risk everything. For us. For people you not know. It was the right thing to do. Not everyone do right thing. You good man. Allah bless you. My daughter. She remember you forever." The little girl was still holding the Skittles, still staring at me. Morrison came down from the ridge. His face was unreadable. He surveyed the compound, the bodies, the rescued civilians. "Me. QRF will be here soon," he said quietly. "We'll need to secure the perimeter, document everything, give detailed statements." "I know, sir. This is going to be a shitstorm, Cross. You understand that? They're going to tear you apart." "I know." He was quiet for a moment, looking at the civilians, at the little girl with her Skittles. Then he turned to me. "For what it's worth, you made the right call. I should have made it with you. But I was too scared of the consequences, too worried about my career, my family's legacy. I let fear make my decision." "It's okay, Lieutenant. Not everyone can make that call. But you did. And these people are alive because of it." The QRF arrived 17 minutes later. 4 Humvees, a full platoon of infantry, and 2 Black Hawk helicopters for medevac. The seriously wounded were loaded first. The old man, the younger guy, the woman, then the others who were in bad shape from dehydration and exposure. The little girl wouldn't let go of her father's hand. Even when the medics tried to check her over, she clung to him. As they walked toward the helicopter, she turned back to look at me, raised her hand, still holding the Skittles. I raised my hand back, watched as the helicopters lifted off, banking south toward the fob, disappearing into the bright morning sky. 23 people. 23 lives that would have been snuffed out if we'd followed orders. The after-action report took 8 hours, every detail, every decision, every round fired. Then came the initial debrief. Then they separated us, interviewed each team member individually, making sure our stories matched, looking for discrepancies. 3 days later, they formally charged me. Article 92 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, failure to obey a lawful order, plus Article 128, assault, plus reckless endangerment. They hit me with everything they could. My weapon was confiscated. I was restricted to base, basically in limbo, waiting for the Article 32 hearing, the military version of a grand jury. My team stood by me, every single one of them. Martinez, Johnson, Williams, Thompson, Chen, Davies, Ramirez, they all testified that they'd made their own choices, that I hadn't forced anyone, that they believed it was the right tactical and moral decision. Morrison testified too. Told the truth, said he'd given me a direct order to stand down and I'd refused, but he also said, on the record, that he believed it was the right decision, that those civilians would have been executed without our intervention, that sometimes leadership means making the hard choice, not the safe one. It didn't matter. The Army had to make an example. You can't have staff sergeants going rogue in combat zones, making their own calls about when to engage. Discipline breaks down, chain of command becomes meaningless. I got it, I really did. They had to come down hard on me. The proceedings dragged on for 6 weeks. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat much. Kept replaying that night over and over, the gunshots, the little girl's face, the 90 seconds when I had to choose. I didn't regret the choice, but I regretted the position I'd put my guys in. Martinez had a wife and 2 kids back home. Williams was saving up to go to college after his service. Johnson wanted to be an engineer. I'd put all of their careers at risk because of my decision. That guilt was heavier than any punishment the Army could hand down. Finally, I got called into Colonel Briggs's office. The same guy who'd been on the radio that night. He was the one who'd convene my court-martial, decide my fate. I walked in, stood at attention, prepared for the worst. He told me to sit, poured 2 cups of coffee, real coffee, not the instant stuff. Slid one across the desk. "Staff Sergeant Cross," he said slowly. "You put me in an impossible position. You violated a direct order from your commanding officer. You engaged in combat operations outside authorized parameters. You endangered your team. By every regulation we have, every rule in the book, I should throw everything at you. Dishonorable discharge, Leavenworth. The works." I nodded. "Yes, sir. I understand. But..." He paused, took a sip of his coffee. "Intelligence has finished their assessment of the Laki compound. The people you rescued? 5 of them were Afghan national police officers who'd been captured for cooperating with coalition forces. 7 were their family members, including 4 children. The rest were villagers accused of informing on Taliban movements." He pulled out a folder, slid it across the desk. Inside were photographs. The little girl with Skittles, her father, the others I recognized from that night. Every single one of them would be dead if you'd followed orders. The HVT we were tracking? He left the compound 6 hours after your engagement. If we'd waited for the scheduled airstrike 36 hours later, he would have been gone and all those civilians would have been dead. Your decision not only saved 23 lives, it also disrupted a major Taliban cell in the region. I stared at those photographs. Faces I saw every time I closed my eyes. "So here's what's going to happen," Briggs continued. "Officially, you're receiving a letter of reprimand for disobeying a lawful order. It goes in your file. It'll probably affect your next promotion board. You're not getting Sergeant First Class anytime soon." My heart sank. "Unofficially," he leaned forward, "the Army can't exactly publicize that we were prepared to let Allied police officers and their families be executed for operational convenience. So your letter of reprimand will be accompanied by a classified commendation. I can't tell you what it says, can't tell you if there's a medal attached, but it'll be there, in your restricted file for the people who matter to see." I didn't know what to say. "You made an impossible choice, Sergeant Cross. The kind that separates adequate soldiers from exceptional ones. You risked everything because your moral compass wouldn't let you do otherwise. That's not something we can officially reward, but it's not something we can ignore either." He stood up. I stood with him. "Don't make a habit of disobeying orders, Sergeant. But don't ever lose that compass. The day you stop questioning whether you're doing the right thing is the day you stop being the kind of soldier we need." Dismissed. I saluted. Walked out of that office feeling like I'd aged 20 years in 6 weeks. 3 months later, we rotated back to the States. Fort Benning, Georgia. There was a ceremony. We were welcomed home. Politicians gave speeches about freedom and sacrifice. People clapped. Families cried. It was emotional and exhausting, but I couldn't shake that night. The sound of those gunshots, the little girl's face, the weight of that 90-second decision. I stayed in for another 5 years. Did 2 more deployments. Made Sergeant First Class eventually. Took an extra 3 years, but I made it. Led more missions, saved more lives, lost some guys too. That's war. It takes, and sometimes it lets you save someone. But that night in Laki, that was the one that defined everything. I got out in 2016. Honorable discharge, 20 years of service. Moved back to Ohio, Got a job with a defense contractor. Boring work, but it paid the bills. Started going to therapy for the PTSD. The nightmares, the guilt. All the stuff we don't talk about because we're supposed to be tough. Therapy helped. Not completely. You don't come back from war unchanged. But it helped me process. Helped me understand that it's okay to be haunted by the things you've seen. The things you've done. That carrying that weight doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. I thought about those 90 seconds a lot in therapy. My therapist asked me once if I'd make the same choice again, knowing everything that came after. The charges, the stress, the guilt, the career impact. I didn't even hesitate. Yes, absolutely yes. Because the alternative is something I couldn't live with, I told her. I'd rather carry the weight of what I did than the weight of what I didn't do. She nodded, wrote something down in her notes. Then she asked me, "Do you think about those people, the ones you saved, every day? Do you wonder what happened to them?" All the time, I did wonder. Late at night when the nightmares woke me up, I'd wonder if that little girl was okay. If she remembered that night. If she was in school. Somewhere. Learning. Growing up. If her father was still alive. If they'd made it to a safe place. I wondered if saving them had meant anything in the long run. Afghanistan was still a mess. The Taliban was still out there. More people were dying every day. Had I really changed anything? Or had I just delayed the inevitable? Those thoughts ate at me for years. Then, in 2019, 8 years after that night, something happened that changed everything. I came home from work one afternoon. There was a letter in my mailbox, no return address. Just a postmark from somewhere in Virginia. The envelope was worn, like it had traveled a long way. My hands were shaking as I opened it. I don't know why, just had this feeling. Inside was a single photograph. And when I saw it, I had to sit down on my front steps because my legs wouldn't hold me anymore. It was her. The little girl from Laki. Except she wasn't little anymore. She was 15, maybe 16 years old. She was wearing a school uniform, blue and white, standing in front of a brick building with other kids in the background. She was smiling, actually smiling, and in her hand, she was holding a pack of Skittles. I turned the photo over. On the back, someone had written in careful English, "Dear Soldier Cross, my name is Zainab. You saved my life in Laki village when I was 7 years old. My father and I came to America 3 years ago, refugee program. I am in high school now in Virginia. I study hard. I want to be doctor someday. Help people like you helped me. My father says I must never forget what you did. How you risked everything for us, for people you did not know. I think about you every year on September 20th. That is my second birthday. The day I should have died, but you gave me life instead. I wanted you to know I did not waste this gift. I study hard. I am good student. My father is proud. My little brother was born here in America. He is 5 now, free. Because you were brave. Thank you for my life. Thank you. For my father's life. Thank you for my future. I will make you proud. Your friend always, Zainab." I sat on those steps and cried. 40-year-old former Army Ranger crying like a baby on his front porch. She was alive. She was in America. She was safe. She was in school. She had dreams. She had a future. She had a little brother who'd never know what it was like to live under Taliban rule. All because of 90 seconds. All because I chose to break the rules. I kept that photo, put it in my wallet right next to my discharge papers. I carry it everywhere. On the days when the PTSD is bad, when the nightmares are worse, when I am wondering if any of it mattered, I pull out that photo, and I remember. 23 people are alive because of what we did that night. 23 futures that exist because we made the hard choice. Zainab wants to be a doctor. How many lives will she save? How many people will be better off because she exists? And it's not just her. Those 5 Afghan police officers we saved, they kept working with coalition forces, kept feeding US intelligence, kept fighting the Taliban. How many IEDs did they help us find? How many ambushes did they warn us about? How many American lives did they save because they were alive to do their jobs? I'll never know the full ripple effect of that one decision. But I know it mattered. I know those 90 seconds changed the world for 23 people. And that has to be enough. I'm 53 years old now, got some gray in my beard, My knees hurt when it rains, courtesy of too many patrols with a heavy ruck. I don't sleep great. Probably never will. But I'm okay. I'm at peace with my choices. People ask me sometimes about my military service. What I did, where I went, the usual questions. Most of the time I keep it vague. Oh, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, did my time, came home. But every once in a while someone will ask me if I have any regrets, if there's anything I'd do differently, and I think about Lockie, about those 90 seconds, about standing on that ridge with Lieutenant Morrison telling me to stand down and my conscience telling me to move. No, I tell them, no regrets. I did what I had to do. I don't tell them the whole story. Most people wouldn't understand. They'd say I was a hero, or that I was reckless. They'd make it bigger or smaller than it was. They'd miss the point. The point isn't that I'm special. I'm not. I'm just a guy who was in an impossible situation and had to make a choice. The point is that we all face those moments. Maybe not with gunfire and helicopters, maybe not with lives hanging in the balance, but moments where we have to choose between what's easy and what's right, between following the rules and following our conscience. And in those moments, the only thing that matters is whether you can live with your choice. I chose to save 23 people. It cost me a lot. Delayed my promotion, nearly ended my career, gave me nightmares that still wake me up, put my guys at risk, pissed off a lot of people up the chain of command. But you know what it didn't cost me? My ability to look at myself in the mirror. My ability to sleep at night, knowing I did everything I could. My ability to tell my niece Emma that when it mattered, when everything was on the line, I chose to be the good guy. That's worth more than any rank, more than any medal, more than any career. Last month I got another letter, same handwriting, Zainab again. She's 19 now, just started college, pre-med, full scholarship. She sent me a photo of her acceptance letter to the University of Virginia. She wrote, "Dear Uncle Mike, I am going to be a doctor. I am going to save lives like you did. I am going to make you proud. P.S. I still have the Skittles. I never open them. They sit on my desk while I study. They remind me that sometimes the sweetest things in life come from the bravest acts. Thank you for being brave when it was hard. You're forever. Grateful, Zainab." Uncle Mike. She calls me Uncle Mike now. I've never met her in person, never talked to her on the phone, just these letters every couple years. But she's family now. She's proof that what we did mattered, that those 90 seconds changed everything. So here's what I want you to take away from this story. Not that I'm some kind of hero. I'm not. I'm just a guy who made a choice. But that's the thing about choices. We all make them, every single day. Most of them are small. What to eat for breakfast, what to wear, what route to take to work. But some of them are big. Some of them define who we are. And when those moments come, and they will come, you have to decide what matters more. The rules, or doing what's right. Your career, or your conscience. Being safe, or being brave. I'm not saying you should disobey orders or break rules or throw your life away. Most of the time, the rules exist for good reasons. Most of the time following them is the right call. But sometimes the rules are wrong. Sometimes following orders means watching innocents die. Sometimes doing what you're told means betraying everything you believe in. And when that happens, when you're standing at that crossroads with 90 seconds to decide, you need to ask yourself one question. What kind of person do I want to be? Not what's easiest, not what's safest, not what will protect my career or my reputation. What kind of person do I want to be? For me, the answer was clear. I wanted to be the kind of person who saves people when he can, who stands up for the innocent, who does the right thing even when it's hard, even when it costs everything. I wanted to be someone my niece could be proud of, someone Zainab could call Uncle Mike, someone who could look at himself in the mirror and not see a coward. That's who I chose to be in those 90 seconds. And yeah, it cost me, but it also gave me something no rank or medal ever could. It gave me peace. It gave me purpose. It gave me the knowledge that when it mattered most, I didn't let fear or rules or consequences stop me from doing what was right. 23 people are alive today because of that choice. 23 people with families and dreams and futures. Zainab is going to be a doctor. She's going to save lives. She's going to make the world better. And someday, she might face her own 90-second decision, her own impossible choice, and I hope, I pray, that she remembers that sometimes being brave means breaking the rules. Sometimes doing the right thing means risking everything. I hope she makes the hard choice, just like I did. You know what keeps me up at night now? It's not the firefight. It's not the blood or the bodies. It's not even the PTSD, though that's still there. It's thinking about what would have happened if I'd made the other choice, if I'd followed orders, if I'd let fear win. I see that little girl in my nightmares, but not the way she looked when we saved her. I see her the way she would have looked if we hadn't. I see all 23 of them, dead in that courtyard. Because I was too scared to break the rules. That's the nightmare that wakes me up screaming. That's the weight I couldn't carry, and I'm grateful, so fucking grateful, that I don't have to. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've hurt people, I've failed, I've fallen short of who I wanted to be more times than I can count. But on September 20th, 2011, in a village called Laki in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, I got it right. I had 90 seconds to choose between my career and 23 innocent lives. And I chose them. Every single time, I'd choose them. That's my story. That's my 90 seconds. That's the moment that defined me. We all get moments like that. Maybe not as dramatic, maybe not life and death, but moments where we have to choose who we are. Choose wisely. Choose bravely. Choose the thing that lets you sleep at night. Choose the thing that makes a 15-year-old girl in Virginia hold on to a pack of Skittles for 8 years. Because they represent the moment someone cared enough to save her. Choose to be someone's Uncle Mike. Choose to be the person who, when faced with an impossible decision, makes the hard choice and lives with the consequences. Because in the end, that's all we have. Our choices, our actions, the difference we make when it matters. I'm Michael Cross, former Staff Sergeant, 75th Ranger Regiment, United States Army. And this is what I learned about courage, about conscience, and about the 90 seconds that changed everything. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. And when your moment comes, and it will come, I hope you find the strength to do what's right, even if it costs you everything, especially then. Because that's when it matters most.